you are not alone. Struggling with dating is way more common than you think. And if you're a man, and specifically an Asian man, maybe you're in your 30s and you're past the age when you thought you would have already been settled down, married, maybe even having kids, right? You feel a bit left behind, you feel lonely, you feel frustrated. Maybe you're in your 40s and you're way past the time that you thought you would have been married. Maybe you're feeling like, damn, like maybe I'm gonna have to spend the rest of my life alone, okay? My parents have even stopped pressuring me because maybe they've even lost hope in me. Maybe you're in your 20s and you recently graduated college and now you're out in the real world, have no social circle and no clue how to go out and meet women. Or maybe you've never had any experiences with women and you just don't know where to start. And I'm here to tell you that that's where I started, with zero experience and nobody teaching me how it is and how to actually meet and attract women. And B, there's a lot of people out there who are struggling with this in the modern day. This is not just a Asian men's problem. This is a men's problem. This is a global men's problem, and also becoming a women's problem now. It's just that this is such a taboo topic that nobody talks about it because it's hush hush, right? Because it's kind of shameful. Like nobody wants to be like, oh, I'm having trouble finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Nobody wants to be like, I really wish I could be married already, but I'm lonely, but I can't tell my parents this, I can't tell my friends this. Just gotta hush hush, keep it down below. And especially in the Asian culture, there's pressure coming from parents. There's your own internal pressure on yourself. Then there's pressure from your friends just because of FOMO, feeling left behind. And then there's that feeling inside of, I really don't even know what to do, where to start. Am I worthless? Am I bad? Am I shameful? Does anyone want me? In this video, I'm gonna be telling you exactly why this is, but also 3 specific things that you can do about it so that in the next 3 to 6 months, you can already find yourself a long-term partner, filling that last missing piece of your life, that romantic relationship. So let me tell you a quick story. Recently, I went on a ski trip with a big group of people, like 30 something people. They were kind of the family friends of one of my friends. And I didn't really know them well, but I spent 5 straight days with them. And in talking to them, obviously they were really intrigued by my job as a dating coach, blah, blah, blah. The topic came up many, many times. And people started asking me kind of like, oh, like, how do I set up my Tinder? How do I blah, blah, blah. But they would always ask me in this super roundabout way. Not like, hey, Alex, I'm really struggling with finding a boyfriend. Can you help me? It would be like, oh, so what kind of photos work well for Tinder? And how should the first line be? And stuff like that. They would always skirt around the issue because it's not something that you openly ask people about. It's not like, oh, I want to learn to play the guitar. Hey, can you teach me to play the guitar? It's like, hey, I'm not having sex. Can you teach me how to have sex? Nobody says that. Nobody says that, right? That's not socially normal. It's also just feels bad for yourself to come out and say that. The thing is, like, after having some deeper conversations one-on-one with some of them, like for example, one girl was struggling to find a partner and she was going on dates and stuff, but she wasn't finding somebody that she was like compatible with or gelling with and stuff. So we talked about that and how she could use her Tinder to like polarize and filter for specific types of men. There was some older men in their 50s and 60s who had been divorced and were struggling to kind of get back out in the game, get their mojo back up, get their confidence again. And the crazy thing to me is that these guys and girls were actually very social and seemingly normal, right? They're not even awkward or nerdy or shy or introverted or anything. And yet they were still struggling to find a partner. And that's when I realized, that's when I had a light bulb moment that, holy crap, this is not a isolated problem. People globally, at least in the first world, in the Western world, are struggling to find partners. We're doing better than ever in our careers and making money and material stuff. But when it comes to intimate connection, even the people who you wouldn't think are struggling with this are struggling with this. For Asian men specifically, why is this happening and what can we do about this? The first reason this is happening is because of social media. We're more connected than ever through our phones, but we're actually more separate than ever, okay? We have smaller social circles, we meet people less often, our social skills are going down because we're spending more time through a screen rather than face to face. So especially the younger generation, is less socially equipped than ever. Okay, and what also social media does is it creates it's made the dating landscape digital. Majority of people don't know how to use the digital landscape to meet somebody or to meet a romantic partner, right? This is not a natural thing, and our parents certainly didn't have this skill set to pass on to us. So we're the first generation that has to use these digital tools to go out and find our romantic partner, and nobody has a playbook for that. Nobody has a tried and tested method for it, and so we're all lost. We're all fish out of water. Nobody knows how to do this. That's why learning this skill set is so important, because dating is only becoming more and more digitized until honestly one day it's going to be like 100% digitized. It's just the way the world is moving. The second reason is shame. You may hear about some people like incel culture or whatever, people who are openly talking about the fact that they're struggling with dating. But most people are not going to come out and say it, and they're going to pretend like everything's good and happy. So while you may think that 3% of people on the planet are struggling with this, it's more like maybe 30 or 50%, because people just don't come out and say it. It's unaccounted statistics. I'm telling you this from firsthand experience, that the people around you, even the coworker next to you who seems to have it all together, who goes home, has a nice car, blah blah blah, like even he's having loneliness issues on a Friday night, feeling like I'm getting old, and I have this career success, but I don't have that woman in my life. Even the guy who's super well dressed, even the guy with the six-pack, I promise you, these men are not doing as well as you think. And the girls too, the really pretty girl, or the girl at the front desk, or the whatever, right? The girl you see on Instagram who has a million thousand followers. Even these people are having trouble finding a truly fulfilling, loving relationship. So I want you to bear in mind that, if you're feeling like this, you're not alone. And the last reason for this is stratification. Stratification means less and less people are getting more and more, okay? Like in the world of money, less and less people in the world are earning the majority of the world's money, okay? And in dating, less and less men are getting access to the majority of women nowadays. And social media has accelerated this dramatically. It used to be, who knows, maybe 80-20 or something. Now it's probably like 10 and 90, or even less than that, right? The highest status, most powerful men with the most strongest social medias, i.e. digital presence, are having access to all the women, and all the women are having to choose from a small pool of men, or that's so they think, right? So basically, as men, if you're somewhere in the middle there, if you're not in the top 10%, you're basically left with nothing, with crumbs, because you don't even have access. So basically what I teach my guys is, how can we learn these digital skills to put you in the top 10%? That way you can have access to choice. And it doesn't take you being the hottest, most jacked, most richest guy. It takes having those digital skills to present yourself correctly. Those are the reasons that, people are struggling with dating nowadays, and that you don't even hear about them. Now I'm gonna give you 3 things that you can do about this, that you can do right now that get you some results in the next 3 to 6 months. Date, find that new relationship for yourself, okay? The first one is forgive yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Realize that people out there are struggling with this. I know it's hard to just maybe take for face value, but just realize that you're not alone in this. This is a global phenomenon. The loneliness epidemic, just search it up. Loneliness amongst men is the highest it's ever been. There's studies that have been done that men and women are having the least sex they've ever had since the dawn of time. Basically, the digital age has made it so that people are less physically connected than ever, and it's causing all sorts of social, emotional diseases. So first of all, forgive yourself. It's not your fault. Nobody taught you this, okay? It's not like you woke up with a playbook for how to find your dream partner. It's not like they taught you this in school, and Disney certainly didn't help with this either. The second thing is take action. It's not your fault if your life has ended up this way up to this point, or you were born a certain way, or you just didn't have the knowledge. But it is your fault if you have the knowledge or the awareness of what to do about it and you do nothing about it, okay? I think it was Bill Gates who once said, it's not your fault if you're born poor, it's your fault if you die poor. It is your responsibility to take action, when you see the light, when you see oh my God, there is a solution, it's your responsibility to do something about it, to change that. So the second thing you can do is take action. And the third thing you can do is get guidance. Getting guidance allows you to accelerate the process. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking like, Alex, you just want me to buy your thing. Well, guess what? Yeah, that's kind of true, okay? It's kind of true because I think that my thing, my community, my program is the best out there for Asian men, but that's your decision to make. I'm here to just make this video and help you, make that decision or point you in the right direction for what you're needing. But the thing is, whether you get guidance from me or somebody else, go out and get guidance, especially if you're in your 30s and 40s and you're past that time. By God, go speed up that process because if you've spent the last 30 years and not gotten results in something, do you think that spending 10 more years on your own is going to change that? Like, let's say you spent 30 years trying to learn guitar. Do you think spending 5 more years learning guitar by yourself is going to all of a sudden make you a professional guitar player? Absolutely not. Okay? But if you're 30 and you've spent 30 years learning guitar and you still suck at it, but you have guidance for like 6 months, a year, and somebody teaches you, do you think you can at least become intermediate, at least become decently good to where you can play some of your favorite songs? Absolutely, absolutely. So whether you get guidance from me or somebody else, go out there and accelerate that process. And the guys in their 20s who are the smartest that I know, they literally graduate college, they take their first paycheck and they start investing in themselves. They start investing in the skills that'll bring them the rewards they want. I have a handful of young 20-year-olds, 23, 24, 25, who are hungry. Okay, they're out there investing in themselves financially, okay, to learn like business skills. They're out there investing in their dating skills and they're getting results. And they don't want to wait until their 30s when it's too late. They want to make sure they optimize their 20s so that in their 30s they can start having a family. That's really, really smart. To wrap up this video, you're not alone. And one of the reasons that I'm so proud of our client community, clients have a place to feel not alone. Not only are they intellectually knowing, like the statistics say, but they actually feel supported. Like right now we have 60 plus Asian men, okay, in our client community from everywhere from United States, East Coast, West Coast, Canada, Australia, UK, all right, all over the world, supporting each other, helping each other with dating. The most important thing is that they can share their struggles. They can feel like, wow, I'm not the only one who's going through this. And they can see other people who have gone from 0 results to getting 4 dates per week, 5 dates per week, getting into a long-term relationship. And they can be like, oh my God, there's hope. There's somebody else who I saw transform. I can do it too. That feeling of not aloneness is invaluable. Also, these men in my community are taking action. They're actually doing something about it. Everywhere else that I've seen on the internet where Asian men are talking about dating, which is pretty much just Reddit, subreddit, Asian masculinity, which is basically a bunch of incels complaining to each other negatively and being like, we're not getting laid. This sucks, right? And then it's like asking each other for Tinder advice when it's just the blind leading the blind. Nobody in there has results, so why would you ask somebody in there for advice on your Tinder or whatever? In my client community, guys are actually getting results, they're actually taking action. So when you ask for advice, A, you're gonna get a response from me, okay, you're gonna get expert coaching advice, and B, the other people in there are actually getting results so that if you get any feedback from them, it's actually qualified advice. So the guys in here are actually taking action about it, not just complaining, and actually getting real results. And lastly, I'm super proud of the guys in the community because they've dropped their ego and they've asked for help. They're humble, okay? There's a lot of guys out there who are not doing well with this yet would never admit it to anyone in the world. And I get it. It's shameful. It's hard to say out loud, but at least from a man-to-man perspective, an Asian-to-Asian perspective, these guys dropped their ego. They said, okay, I'm struggling with this. Where can I get help with this? Maybe I don't need my parents to know about this, but I need to go find somewhere where I can feel accepted and trusted and to be able to share these things and actually to drop my guard and ask for help. And that's really important. That's the first step in actually, figuring any of this out, because if you can't admit to yourself and then to somebody else that, you're struggling with this, how are you ever going to get help on it? How are you ever going to get solved? For the guys in my community, the pain, the little bit of pain of like saying like, this, I'm kind of struggling with this. is far lower than the pain of, if they were to never find their life partner. So they're trading, they're making that trade. Like, hey, I'm gonna ask for help now. That hurts a little bit in order so I can have the huge payoff, pleasure, dream down the line of having that beautiful, loving partner who's by my side, who looks at me with loving eyes and hugs me and smiles when I come home from work. That's the trade-off that they're making. So at the end of the day, you're not alone, but also if you want to feel not alone and actually start taking action and getting results, not just knowing this intellectually, and you want to potentially work with me, okay, personally, and join my client community, then book in a call down below using the link, okay, apply, and we'll talk about if it's a good fit. We'll have a one-on-one conversation, no pressure, just to see if this is something that could be beneficial for you. If you already feel like you belong just from having a conversation with me, if you feel like I'm somebody you can trust, and if I feel like you're somebody that I want to help. Okay, so let's have that conversation if that's you. If you're not really sure, who are you, Alex? What are you all about? What do you even teach? I just found you randomly. I need to know more about you. Watch the main video on my page. Okay, it breaks down literally everything that I teach in my program, my own backstory, the results that I've gotten from clients over the last 2 years working with 100+ Asian guys. You can get basically the whole entire breakdown of what I'm all about and see if that's something that's interesting to you. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Have a good week.